If we can align within our highest version of self, that then holds space for the collective to do the same. And it is our time. It's time for the feminine era for us to step into the essence and to be all that we can be in order to assist this world in its unsettledness or chaos.
Hello, welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm so honored to create a space where what I call extraordinary women from around the globe can step forward to bring their gifts, their wisdom, their courage, and their dedication to uplifting the well-being of women everywhere. You know, I work with leaders and teams, and I train coaches in my emotional integration techniques and support individuals who are ready to up-level and thrive. And there's lots of programs coming in 2026. And at the end of the show, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But I want you to know that I actually believe that we're in a time of profound emergence. This is where women's voices and their visions and their leadership is rising in powerful ways. I'm so deeply grateful to be a conduit to introduce you to these remarkable change makers and their stories of transformation and resilience. You can find us, Women Awakening with Cynthia James, on every podcast platform and on video on YouTube. Please share these conversations and subscribe and leave a review. Listen, your reviews truly make a difference to help us reach more women around the world. You can also connect with me personally on my website, cynthiajames.net. I have a newsletter, a vibrant private community, and many offerings to support your fullest expression. Well, now I want to introduce you to my guest today. She's new to me, but I can already tell she's going to have an incredible time with us. Her name is Dr. Mary Sanders. She's got a wealth of experience as a self-employed medical intuitive and a chiropractor. Dr. Mary is deeply committed to guiding individuals on their personal transformation journey, and she focuses on helping people cultivate thriving health, happiness, purpose through the powerful tools of energy medicine, spiritual embodiment, and meditation. Dr. Mary hosts the internationally acclaimed podcast, Energy Medicine, which discusses everything related to aligning the mind, the body, and the spirit. Dr. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
No, Cynthia, I must say the honor is completely mine. I'm looking forward to connecting with you and all the listeners.
Well, I'm really grateful. I want to start, though, with where you were born and how you grew up. Chances are you didn't come on the planet knowing you were a medical intuitive.
No. However, this is a beautiful story I'd like to share with you. I was born the youngest of three girls in the Midwest in Charleston, Illinois. And I was born hearing impaired, meaning that my hearing capacity is 50% what a normal person hears. And Cynthia, I was the youngest of three, so I went undiagnosed until 3 years old. So what that allowed me to do my first 3 years of life was to live in this domain somewhere between here, the physical plane, and there, the spiritual plane. So just based upon my hearing impairment alone, I had the opportunity to receive information above and beyond the traditional five senses. And that's what started the journey for me to tap into my intuition.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I looked at your bio and, you got a lot of degrees, but I guess I want to know for you, what called you? Well, first of all, what's a medical intuitive?
I love this question because everybody should be asking this question. Really, how do we define what a medical intuitive does? And so we need to operate from a common foundation of what we determine that there is and does exist a biofield that surrounds all of us, this invisible energy field that we can't see, but we know that it exists. And this is not some new age foundation. This is something that we have known through many cultures for many years. So, as a medical intuitive, I sit in an expanded state and receive information about the person who I am supporting or facilitating the healing with. And I receive the information about the biofield and how it relates to the energy system energetically. And then it corresponds with the physical body and the endocrine system.
Beautiful. Okay, so what led you to this?
Oh, wow. This has been a lifelong calling. I believe that all of us, all the listeners, everybody has access to this information. It's whether or not they choose to open up to receive this information. But I knew intuitively because I was raised feeling, using my hands in psychometry to get to know the world. I knew within the trillions of the cells that we have within our physical body at a very young age that I was blessed to have my hands on people. Like that's why I was put onto this world. I knew it. And so that's what led me to chiropractic school. That's what led me into understanding positive psychology and even expanding into medical intuition. There was an internal knowing that I got to be of service. And quite honestly, Cynthia, it's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world.
Well, listen, I love that because, I tell my clients, what lights you up? What are you passionate about? Go there. Focus your energy there. So I guess I wanted to, because this is medical intuition. I mean, chiropractors, now it's like mainstream and people are going. But medical intuitives, it's like, what do people say when they come to you about the possibility of your helping them?
Sure. Typically, the people that gravitate into my practice show up in a state of, I've tried things over the years and I haven't really gotten to the core root of this physical symptom. Or, Mary, I keep bumping up against the same issues repetitively, and I feel like there's something deeper that I haven't been able to connect with. And so those are the common themes that I hear within my practice. I don't know if you can really help me, but I'm here. I heard you speak and I kind of resonate with your message, or they feel intuitively drawn into the practice. Many people arrive with various different backgrounds. So it's fascinating to me how people show up.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, do some of the people come, have they been diagnosed with something that could be intense for them?
Yes, yes, obviously. So there's a patient that comes to mind. She's a beautiful woman in her 60s. To be honest with her, with all of you listeners, she is deeply rooted into the mental health field. And she has a rare form of blood cancer, and she's been working with it through traditional means, through various different chemo radiation processes. And she comes to me knowing she knows that there's a deeper rooted something systemic going on that she hasn't been able to really grasp her awareness of from the mental component and the physical body as well. And so she wanted to address the energetics of it. And I'm happy to be able to say that we worked for probably a good solid 4 months. She went back in for another round of cancer markers, only to have her cancer markers decline significantly. So we were overjoyed with the results. And again, that's not my that's something that she did on her own. I just had the opportunity to help facilitate.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Well, I want to talk about mind, body, and spirit. The work that I do in the world is called emotional integration, and it's like helping people understand that the body has a language and that it's a messenger, and that healing, from my perspective, takes place at the spiritual level. And you need this beautiful thing called the brain, but they work in tandem. So I guess I just want to say to you, when you are teaching or connecting with people, what are the first kinds of things that you say to help them understand that this mind, body, spirit thing must work together? It's not separate things.
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe the same. I come from the same foundation that you do. And the language that I use in my practice is that we get to establish a certain level of coherence. Coherence within the electrical component of the brain so that we can magnetically attract that which we desire within the space of our heart. And so once we can create this coherence, then there's a certain amount of harmony that happens within the cells, within the tissue. Now, if we have stored trauma, that's where we get the imbalance in the autonomic nervous system that shows up within the physical body, the discordance, the things that no longer serve us in present time. So the body has this innate wisdom to heal itself. It has the desire to heal itself. If we can overcome what the autonomic nervous system has programmed, then we can recondition the neurology of the brain to align with a different outcome than what we've already achieved.
Yeah. Well, okay, ladies, let me just say this. This is why I tell you to review. And this is why I tell you to subscribe, because the information that's being imparted is so important. You may not need it today, but you may need it next month or next year. So when you started your practice, how did you start it? Did you start it just being a chiropractor, or how did you start the process?
That's an interesting question. So I practiced hands-on with physical bodies for probably about 23 years. And then my husband and I uprooted ourselves and went to go live internationally. So in that time, in that decade in which we were living internationally, I knew that I was not done being of service in the healing industry. But I also knew that I enjoyed international living. And that's what prompted me to do further additional training in order to better understand how energy is no longer bound by time nor space. And so I can be of service energetically, remotely to others. And that's when I stepped into the capacity of really wanting to be of service as a medical intuitive, because it allows me to show up, in all my areas of strength. And it's an honor to be of service.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I guess I just want to say, so many people who have listened to this show or my clients have talked about the ability to trust their intuitive knowing, and they get confused. And so as you were growing in this field of medical intuitiveness, what was it that allowed you to become very clear that you could trust this intuitive knowing that was coming?
Sure, and that's a legitimate question. When I was treating as a chiropractor, and I was working in a high volume clinic that I had created, and it very much was oriented in energetics. I knew how to modulate my frequency as I went from room to room, and I knew how to modulate just one step higher so I could be of an energetic frequency or a conduit when I have my hands on patients, and that allowed the information to flow smoothly within my system. Now, I was born into a family with two educators. And so my belief system was that I needed to have a formal education in order to validate that trade. And so I was like, okay, so let's go and do additional training, even though I intuitively, physically already feel, I physically already see, and I can sense information through my hand. So when I went to the Academy of Intuition Medicine in Sausalito, I intentionally joined into the program remotely as we were living international, so that I could then take those skills and force myself into an environment to assimilate it energetically from a distance. And so I've always had these skills. Now I have allowed permission to lean into them. So one of my strengths is being clairsentient. And so that means that I get to sense and feel or perceive energy that somebody else feels within their physical body. And so when I get into an expanded state, Cynthia, it's a beautiful dance, meaning that I have developed routines and rituals in which I physically know my own body. I'm very, very committed to my health and to my exercise and to my overall well-being. I'm a consistent meditator. That's one of my other favorite things to do. So when I tap into an expanded state, the sensations that show up within my body, I know belong to somebody else. And so I sense and say, and I follow the frequency throughout the physical body and communicate that. I'm just a conduit for the other person's spirit so that they can then receive the information in a way that they can digest it. Most often, that the information that I share is something that they have already received intuitively, but they couldn't lean into and to trust the own messages that their physical body was trying to deliver all along.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So I want to go back just a little bit because you have the strong spiritual practice and you take care of yourself. What do you tell your clients about the importance of self-care? And I don't mean, just going to get your nails done or spa. What's the importance, especially working with someone like you? What's the importance of this thing called self-care?
For me, it's an embodiment practice.
Mm.
It is. So if we are looking to connect to all that exists beyond our physical body, in order to attune to it and to align to it, in order to be our fullest expression of self, then that means that we get to take back, we get to reclaim all the pieces and parts that belong to us for our own healing journey so that we can be of service to ourselves and to others. And that's when we get to really light up, Cynthia. This is when we can say, hear me roar because I'm in alignment. My cells, my body, my belief system, my mental capacity, all of my spiritual practice are all in alignment. So that's an embodiment practice. That's an empowerment thing. That is every person's God-given right to reclaim that for themselves.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. And so, who helps Mary? You help a
Mm,
lot of people.
Don't kid yourself. I have my team. I lean on some people and I lean on them hard. And I also am committed to my energetic hygiene, if you will. And so, because being a highly sensitive individual, it's challenging for me to be in a group of people. Quite honestly, it's challenging for me to go to Whole Foods. So, consequently, I have to really be committed to cleansing and charging my energy centers, my biofield, so that I'm really clear as to what's mine and what's others. I really get to create a neutral separation from those that I choose to have intimate relationships with so that I can empower them to have their own journey and that I'm not feeling responsible for somebody else's journey as well. So, and sometimes that's tricky. That's a slippery slope. And so I try to be respectful, and those that are close to me understand that I need my private time, that meditation is a priority for me. I have to be of service to myself first before I can be of service to others.
I'm so glad that you said that. Okay, ladies, listen, especially if you're one of those empathetic people, one of those people that can feel everything, you taking care of yourself is important, but having other people that can support you and having rituals that can support you become essential because otherwise you are feeling things that you don't understand. I remember as a kid, I'd walk into a room and start crying and there was nothing that had happened to me. It was like, okay, what's that? Well, I want to know how people find you. How do they get in touch with you and your powerful work? And do you work online as well as in person?
I do. And Cynthia, my website is a living, breathing organism in its own. It's constantly changing with the latest episodes, the latest classes and courseworks and all that stuff are listed. So my website is probably the best way to connect. And that's www.drmarysanders.com.
And Sanders, everybody, is Sanders. Okay. Dr. Mary Sanders. Okay. Listen, y'all, go check her out. There's such an interesting thing that we're living in. I work with a lot of spiritual people, and they think that if something happens, they're going to pray it away or they're going to meditate it away. And they don't reach out to people that can help them move to another level of consciousness and healing. And you are a healer. I mean, that's very clear to me. So, from your perspective, what would you say to anybody who is on this path of evolving as a healer?
Well, my favorite mantra that I'll share with you and the listeners, I think is applicable for anybody that's listening, and it's super simple. It's 3 words, and it's relax, open, and allow.
Relax, open, allow. Okay, I love that. And can they use that in their meditative process?
Absolutely, absolutely. And if any of the listeners have an inclination like the allow part was super challenging.
Yes, yes, yeah. Um, I ask the same last question of every person on my show. The show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing of women awakening in this moment?
Wow, that's a beautifully profound question. And I'm going to go back to the self. If we can align within our highest version of self, that then holds space for the collective to do the same. And it is our time. It's time for the feminine era for us to step into the essence and to be all that we can be in order to assist this world and its um, unsettledness or chaos.
Yeah, yeah, everybody. I mean, Mary, I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful that you're on the planet, that you're doing this work, and that there's such light and passion in you as you speak about it. And so I know it must translate into the work you do with people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, listen. I tell people this all the time. Go back and re-listen to this because there were so many nuggets in there you might have missed a few. I'm hoping for every interview that you feel touched and encouraged and reminded of how powerful you are, of the energy and the essence and the frequency that lives within you, so that these interviews help you awaken to your power, your vision, your gifts, your voice. And I told you earlier that I have emotional integration work techniques, and I help individuals and companies, up level through this kind of integration. You can go to cynthiajames.net and find out about that. And also, any ladies who are about to write a book, my retreat for Okay, Ladies, Let's Write a Book is in May, and the information's on my website, cynthiajames.net. I'm going to really remind you, please subscribe, share these episodes with the women in your life, and leave a review. It really matters. And you can watch the full video episodes of every one of these sessions on YouTube by searching for Women Awakening with Cynthia James. So what I want to say to you is how grateful I am that you've been here, how grateful I am that you're on the planet at this time because your energy matters. And so I hold for you that you get to rise and shine and awaken to the fullness of who you are. I'm very grateful. I love you, and I will see you next time.